open a blank page, the cursor blinks like a tiny heartbeat. Your hands hover, ready to make something honest, something finally worth sharing. And then, it happens. The idea that sparkled in the shower dulls. Your chest tightens. You think, maybe I need a snack, a clean desk, a different pen, a better mood, a new playlist. Maybe later. The burst freezes. The room goes quiet. Your creativity dies in your hands and you don't know why. If that scene feels familiar, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not untalented. You're standing at a threshold you cannot see. And that threshold has a guardian. Carl Jung would say, the shadow is not just the part of you that's dark. It's the part of you that's unlived. In that unlived place, there is gold. Your undiscovered voice, your truth, your power. But the door to that gold is guarded by fear. Not to hurt you, but to ask a question. Are you ready to carry this honestly? Think of your creative block as a loyal dog standing between you and a room full of light. It barks when you approach, not because the room is wrong, but because the dog remembers what happened the last time you opened that door. Maybe you were mocked, maybe you were praised too much and inflated like a balloon, maybe you felt naked, maybe you vanished into your work and forgot the rest of your life. The dog learned, protect the threshold. Jung's language for this is simple. When you come close to an unlived truth, a complex wakes up. A complex is a cluster of memory, feeling, and meaning bound around a wound. It's not bad. It's charged, and it wants you safe. So the block appears. What do you do when the block arrives? Don't fight the dog. Kneel, offer your hand. Ask what it guards. This is not metaphorical advice. This is practical, body level. Sit with your journal or the blank page and write the question, what are you protecting me from right now? Then wait. You will feel a word, an image, maybe a memory. Name it softly. The answer might be humiliation, exposure, success that I can't maintain, being ordinary, being seen. When you name the guardian's fear, it relaxes, even a little. That's the first key. Here's the second. Stop trying to create the final thing. Jung talked about active imagination, dialogue with inner figures and images to let the psyche show itself. Use it. If writing a chapter terrifies you, write a scene that no one will read. If painting a canvas feels like Judgment Day, paint symbols from last night's dream. If composing a song feels too big, hum into your phone for 30 seconds. You're showing the dog that you can visit the threshold without running into the street. Maybe this is you. You can start. You can get to 80%. And then suddenly, you're rearranging folders, finding a new productivity app, deep cleaning the oven. You call it procrastination. But look closer. Ending something is a ritual. To end is to offer your work to the gaze of the world, and the gaze can inflate or crush you. Jung warned about inflation when you identify with a powerful inner figure, the artist, the visionary. You swell. You fly too close to the sun. The psyche, wise as it is, slams on the brakes. It looks like sabotage. It's actually a safety mechanism. How do you finish without exploding or collapsing? You shrink the stage. Choose one kind witness. Share your piece with one person whose eyes are clear and kind. Don't post it. Don't publish yet. Let the work meet a human heartbeat, not an algorithm. Name out loud before you share. I am practicing finishing. I am not asking for a verdict. This anchor keeps you from floating into the sky or sinking into the floor. Then there's another hunger that haunts creative people. Envy. A stranger posts a poem. A friend launches an album. Your stomach folds. You think, why not me? Jung would say, envy points to the unlived life. It's the soul tugging your sleeve. There, that light is yours too. Envy is not a sin to crush. It's a signal to follow. Turn envy into apprenticeship. When you feel that twist, pause and ask, what exactly do I envy? The courage, the style, the depth, the consistency. Be precise. Then do a 10-minute imitation, not to steal but to learn. Copy the rhythm, the palette, the structure. Then turn off the reference and let your own voice waver into it. You're metabolizing the signal your envy sent. The shadow relaxes because you listened. Sometimes the block isn't tight, it's fog. Too many ideas. A hallway full of doors and no one name on any of them. That fog can be a trickster at play, scattering your attention with glitter. Jung would suggest courting a single image. Which image has heat? Not the one that looks impressive. The one that won't leave you alone. The broken clock, the blue feather, the empty chair in a kitchen at night. Hold that image. Write it. Draw it. Sing from it. Let the image choose the form. Your voice is not a brand. Your voice is a path. And every path begins with one stone that you can feel under your foot. Pick that stone. Another force hides inside the block, the persona, the mask we wear to be acceptable. You've learned how to look competent, how to sound like you belong. When you create from the persona alone, the work can be smooth but empty. When you try to create from behind the mask, the soul refuses. The block says, "This is not true." The fix is not to rip the mask off in public. The fix is to let the mask rest beside you while you work. Before you begin, whisper, "I will not perform. I will tell one small truth without decoration." That vow unlocks the door. Now, the body. The body knows when the threshold is near. Notice your breath as you approach the work. Notice your shoulders. Notice your jaw. If your breath is shallow, it's not a moral failure. It's a sign. Exhale longer than you inhale. 3 times. Then ask your body for a gesture that feels like yes. It could be placing your hand over your heart. It could be standing barefoot. It could be turning the page 1 inch to the left. Let the body teach the mind how to proceed. Sometimes the night joins the story. You dream you miss a train. You dream your teeth fall out. You dream you find a room in your house you've never seen before. These dreams are not random. Missing a train is the soul's way of saying, your timing is not the world's timing. Teeth falling can be about losing old bite so that new words can grow. The hidden room. That's the unlived room of your creativity, waiting. Jung would tell you to amplify the image. Draw the hidden room. Describe the train station. Taste the loosened tooth in your mouth. Then bring one piece into the day. Write a paragraph from the room. Sketch the station clock. The block softens because you're not forcing the work out of a dry sponge. You're letting the well feed you. There's a darker phase some of you are in. Everything feels like ash. The colors you used to love are gray. The notes you used to reach fall flat. This is alchemy's black stage, nigredo, the decomposition that precedes new life. The mistake is to panic and sprint back to bright. The invitation is to stay gently without dramatizing it. Say, "I am in the black." Then ask, what needs to compost? Old ambitions, old measures of success, old audiences. Give yourself a black hour, 60 minutes where you are not required to produce anything. You are only required to be present with the ash, and then look for the ember. One ember, a line you like, a color that still glows. Protect that ember. Feed it tomorrow. Midway through, let me ask you something real. What does your block feel like? Wall, fog, or a guardian at the door? Tell me in the comments, and if these Jungian maps are helping, subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. We'll walk together. Now, success. The paradox. Many people fear success more than failure. Not because success is bad, but because success threatens to change your place in the tribe. If you grow, will you still belong? Jung would see the tribal anxiety and the complex attached to mother or father, whichever voice first taught you the rules of belonging. When you're about to cross into new territory, that complex rings the alarm. The block isn't saying no to creation, it's saying, will you take me with you? The practical move, name the part. Write, "Dear mother complex voice, you can sit beside me today. You don't drive. I will check in with you after the session. This tiny ritual preserves the bond while reclaiming the wheel. Many blocks bloom right after praise. Someone tells you you're brilliant and suddenly you can't touch the work. Why? Praise points at the mana personality, an inflated, magical self-image that can possess the artist. To avoid being possessed, the psyche shuts the door entirely. The antidote is gratitude with grounding. Thank the praise out loud. Then do something small and earthy. Wash a cup, water a plant, take a 5-minute walk. Return to the work for 15 minutes only. You're telling your nervous system, we can hold praise without becoming praise. What if your block is disguised as constant research? You read, you plan, you outline, you watch tutorials. It feels like work. It feels safe. But the page stays blank. Jung would call this over-identification with the intellect, logos without eros. You need a thread of feeling. Ask, where in my body does this project live? Put your hand on that place while you make one messy thing, just one. Research will still be there, but let it serve the living thread, not replace it. There's also the opposite. You overflow with feeling and can't shape it. You cry at an ad and feel everything and the work spills everywhere and makes no sense. That's eros without logos. Borrow a form. Set a box. 3 stanzas, 2 minutes. 1 canvas no bigger than your forearm. Structure isn't a prison, it's a bowl that lets you drink. Listen to the room you make your work in. Does it stand with you? You don't need a studio on a mountain. You need a corner that says, here, the threshold is respected. A candle, a chair, a closed tab, a phone asleep across the room. Tell the room what you're about to do. I'm going to meet one true image, then begin. And when the critic shows up, the one with the tight mouth and the long ledger and the sentence that starts with, who do you think you are? Give it a job. Critics are auditors. They love rules. Tell yours, you can come back in 20 minutes to help me fix commas or transitions. Right now, we're fishing. No auditors on the boat. People ask, how do I find my voice? This is Jung's answer. You don't find it like a lost key. You grow it like a tree. Roots first. Soil first. Water the soil of your life. What are you truly curious about? Not what will trend. What keeps you awake in a gentle way? Follow that. The voice arrives because you stayed close to your life. If your fear is visibility, being seen by people from your past, being misread by strangers, being criticized by family, create a circle. 3 names. People you trust to hold the early version of your work and mirror back your intention, not just their preference. Tell them the rule. Reflect. Don't advise unless asked. This lets your work be witnessed without being steered. Finally, remember this. Your calling is not your productivity. Your calling is your relationship with the source. Some days you will harvest. Some days you will tend. Some days you will sit by the well and listen to frogs. That's still the work. Let's close where we began. The blank page, the blinking cursor, the breath that shortens. Feel the dog at the threshold. Kneel. Offer your hand. Ask what it guards. Then promise this. I will carry what is given with care. I will not abandon my life to my work, and I will not abandon my work to my fear. I will go in and return. I will bring one ember back. Jung believed the gold is in the dark. Not because suffering is holy, but because the parts you exiled, the shy, the strange, the raw, are the very parts that make your art breathe. When the block rises tomorrow, don't muscle through it. Don't flee. Meet it like an old friend who knows the way. Walk together. And when the door opens, because it will, step softly, speak truth, and light your room with what you found.